Hello everyone, welcome to the JD Theory. Today, I will be counting down my top 10 favorite Godzilla movies across the entire franchise. Every film from every studio is eligible on this list, the only deciding factor being my personal opinion. Just before we get started, I ask that you all like the video and subscribe to the channel. Every bit of interaction helps. Thank you. Now let's kick off this list with my number 10 entry. Godzilla vs. Megaguirus earns its spot by being a wild, late millennial entry that leans hard into sci-fi, chaos, and combat. The film introduces the Dimension Tide, a time-bending weapon gone wrong that accidentally unleashes Megaguirus, one of Godzilla's most aggressive and visually striking foes. While the plot is undeniably messy and the science is pure nonsense, the movie makes up for it with fast pacing, creative action, and a relentless hostile Godzilla. Some may say it's not a classic, but it is energetic, weird, and very entertaining. I also appreciate this movie's callback to the original Rodan film from 1956. We see Meganulon in an evolved form, Megaguirus being this queen of the hive type of kaiju. There's a potent sense of urgency considering how challenging of a foe the large flying bug could be. With an energy-draining stinger and a flying supersonic speed, I'd say it is one of the best fights in the series from a narrative perspective. Let's go to my number 9 pick next. Godzilla vs. Biollante stands out as one of the most ambitious and emotionally charged films in the entire franchise. Blending genetic horror, paranoia, and tragic drama, it introduces Biollante as a genuinely unsettling and original kaiju born from grief and scientific obsession. The film's slower pace and dense plotting won't work for everybody, but it gives the story a weight and maturity that's kind of rare for Godzilla movies of this time period. It's a bold Heisei era experiment that trades constant spectacle for atmosphere and ideas, and that type of risk, it pays off for me. Truth be told, this is a very odd film and it sticks out like a sore thumb in the franchise, but when you have a lot of the same and movies spanning over 70 years, unique additions such as Biollante are very welcome. Also, the kaiju Biollante itself is such an odd concept, blending human, plant, and Godzilla DNA together, one of the biggest monsters Godzilla has ever fought, and it felt like a true threat because of this. Next up, my number 8 pick. Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, giant monsters all-out attack, takes a sharp turn by presenting Godzilla as an outright antagonist rather than the hero or reluctant protector, which at this point in the movie's releases, that was a big shift. This film flips franchise expectations by casting Mothra and King Ghidorah as Earth's defenders. And that in turn gives these monsters matchups a very fresh dynamic. GMK benefits from strong practical effects, memorable monster designs, and a confident, self-contained story. It's a bold reworking of a classic, elements that feel distinct without abandoning what makes Godzilla movies fun. And how could I overlook Baragon getting his biggest movie spot in the franchise since the 1960s? This is also one of the few movies on this list that requires zero context, as its plot is completely of its own, just to this film. All in all, it's a really cool concept with roles of monsters being reversed and a compelling narrative to boot. Next up, my number 7 entry. The original Godzilla is the foundation of everything else in the franchise, and it's what everything else is built on. More than just a monster movie, it uses Godzilla as a metaphor for nuclear destruction, capturing a mood of fear and loss that feels very heavy even decades later. This film's restraint, somber tone, and iconic imagery gives it a weight most sequels never even attempt. It's not flashy, but it is powerful, and it's the reason Godzilla is still with us all these years later. This movie absolutely had to appear on this list for how iconic and important it is, while also being the most narrative-driven movie of the Showa era. Also, important to note, there is a major difference between the Japanese version and the American version. I advise you all to watch a subbed Japanese version, as the American version adds Steve Martin, who is an American journalist taped over the original film to reframe it for Western audiences. I don't think it's necessarily horrible, but the movie plays out far more cohesively without this inclusion. So in the original version, go look up Gojira. That is the right version to watch. But my next pick is my number 6 entry. Terror of Mechagodzilla serves as a surprisingly somber and character-driven finale to the Showa era. This film pairs Godzilla's return with the debut of Titanosaurus, while leaning heavily into tragedy through Katsura's story and the human cost behind the monsters. Its tone, it's darker, it's more melancholic than most Showa entries, without abandoning the era's charm either. And it also stands out for its emotion, music, and sense of finality. This is also Mechagodzilla's second appearance, following Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla just a year earlier, and it's been rebuilt, upgraded for this final battle. He teams up with Titanosaurus to launch coordinated attacks on Japan using his full arsenal, I-beams, chest weapons, finger missiles, and brute force to overwhelm Godzilla. Mechagodzilla is positioned as the primary enforcer and finisher, repeatedly gaining the upper hand until Godzilla receives help from human intervention and strategic planning. Great battle and really high stakes. Next up would be my number 5 pick, but briefly, I ask that you all comment and like this video. All interaction helps. I'm also on the road to 100 subscribers, so if you're in Godzilla vs. Megalon is pure, unapologetic Showa-era chaos and one of the franchise's most fun crowd pleasers. It pairs Godzilla with Jet Jaguar against Megalon and Gigan, delivering wall-to-wall monster action, wrestling-style brawls, and some of the monster's most iconic moments in the series. This film truly embraces its campy tone, colorful visuals, and over-the-top choreography without hesitation. It's ridiculous, but it knows exactly what it is, and that's the confidence that makes it endlessly rewatchable. Also worth noting that this is the singular appearance of Megalon. Despite being in this film, he's easily one of Godzilla's most iconic kaiju foes, simply from how iconic this film is. And in terms of live action, it's Jet Jaguar's only appearance as well. Sometimes you don't need a movie that's overly compelling or complex. The appeal of this film is how ridiculous and off the wall it is. Pop this on and have a good laugh. Next up, my number 4 pick. Godzilla -1 strips the franchise back to its roots by focusing on human loss, guilt, and survival in post-war Japan. Godzilla is portrayed as an overwhelming force of destruction, making every appearance feel devastating rather than routine spectacle. This film balances emotional characters and drama with modern effects that still respects the weight and scale of the monster. It's a powerful reminder that Godzilla exceeds when the destruction actually means something. Seeing the consequence in the lives of Koichi and Noriko, play out under these circumstances. It's very heavy, and in terms of just the emotional weight, -1 takes the cake out of the whole franchise. This is the only Godzilla movie that nearly brought me to tears as an adult. I cannot say that about any other kaiju film, period. Hence why this ranks so high for me. But next up is my 3rd place bronze medal pick. Godzilla vs. Hedorah is one of the strangest and most experimental films in the entire franchise. It pits Godzilla against Hedorah, a pollution-born monster that embodies Japan's growing environmental anxieties of that era. This movie's psychedelic visuals, animated sequences, and grim imagery makes it feel completely unlike a standard Godzilla entry. It's messy and divisive, but its raw creativity and willingness to be weird has made it a cult classic. As I said for Godzilla vs. Biollante, I have a soft spot for these really oddball films. Hedorah in specific is far and away the weirdest enemy Godzilla has ever been in combat with, and that is saying a lot. Hedorah, he truly feels like a monster of the apocalypse, using corrosive sludge, acid, and toxic gas while switching between a variety of forms. It is also one of the rare foes that would have won if not for the military aiding the Green Lizard. A true sense of horror and bleakness, as well as one of the strongest kaijus in the series, lands this movie at my number 3 position. Next up, my runner-up, number 2 pick. Godzilla vs. Destoroyah is monumental, emotional climax to the Heisei era, and it is one of the franchise's darkest entries. The film builds everything around Godzilla's impending meltdown, turning him both savior and extinction-level threat. Destoroyah, he feels like a true final boss, born of the Oxygen Destroyer and evolving into multiple terrifying forms. It's tragic, operatic, and devastating, delivering a sense of finality the series rarely commits to. The whole idea of tying this film to the original 1954 movie is pure genius. The weapon that originally killed Godzilla has mutated into the threat itself, and now Godzilla is the one defending the world. Also, the devastation Destoroyah causes Godzilla is tangibly emotional, with the kaiju taking out Godzilla Jr. For being a strong blend of emotion, depth, story, and combat, Destroyer is only bested by one other film in the franchise. But before we discuss my number 1 pick, I have a few honorable mentions. These next 5 films barely missed the cut for this list, but still great entries in the franchise. I give my flowers to Destroy All Monsters from 1968, Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla from 1994, Godzilla King Kong The New Empire from 2024, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla from 1974, and Shin Godzilla from 2016. Like I said, I love all of these films, but I could only keep the list to 10. But now, let's look at my official pick for the number 1 Godzilla movie. Godzilla Final Wars is the franchise at its most unhinged and unapologetic, over the top. Designed as the 50th anniversary celebration, it turns Godzilla into an unstoppable force, plowing through nearly every kaiju in rapid-fire battles. The film trades subtlety for speed, style, and sheer spectacle, embracing its Matrix-like humans and monster mayhem without restraint. It is ridiculously maximalist and pure fan service, and it acts as a send-off to classic Godzilla, going out swinging. And if the core purpose of entertainment is to entertain, there is no denying that Final Wars is the most entertaining film in the franchise. The action is top-notch, and not just from the non-stop monster battles, but the human combat is equally, if not more, compelling. The film is outright bonkers, and I love it for that reason. I don't believe we will ever get something similar to this again. Godzilla's Final War is a one of one. It feels like it was made specifically for the hardcore fans, and it just happened to be so appealing that a casual viewer would find this hilarious and action-packed. This is always my go-to suggestion whenever asked about the franchise, because there is something in here for everybody. Hence my decision to put this at the top of the list. Thank you all for watching. Let me know down in the comment section what your personal favorite Godzilla movie is. Also, stay tuned for my upcoming video, the Godzilla Kaiju tier list, that should come out sometime this next week, so subscribe and turn on notifications when that one comes out. Again, thank you all for watching, and I wish you all a wonderful day. Bye-bye.